Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's content. The first thing that I wanted to do is just sort of orient us again and remind us kind of where we're headed. So, right from the beginning, I may have mentioned that, this is our anticipated course calendar. It doesn't mean we're going to go exactly in this order, but we basically are. But I added one thing right at the beginning. The first thing we did on week one was we sort of made a structure and we used uh, a specified structural bay and we sort of made a like Tetris-like form, right? So we use that form to sort of start massing out a potential structure. So if I could just go to assignment one, here were some examples that I posted on there. There we go. Some pretty interesting forms using a specified structural bay. That will help us later for sure. I'll move that over. So then in the next week, we actually got introduced to Revit, its user interface, its navigation, and we had a assignment with that, which was that quick office startup. The next week, we did line work and modify tools. So this actually got moved to week 3. So line work and modify tools, as I mentioned in those lectures, are really the foundation of all the tools in Revit. So in a sense, in Revit, we sort of draw a lot of things in 2D, but three-dimensional things happen with those two-dimensional tools. So the idea with that assignment, which is an architectural drawing of some kind of your choice, hopefully something you like, as I mentioned, was to just get used to all those tools. How do we create different line work? How do we modify that line work, rotate, all that kind of stuff? Align. Now this week, we're going to start sort of building this little project, and we're going to start with our title block design. So you have created a title block in CAD. We're going to do the same thing in Revit. Now, I will give you examples to start from, and you can sort of take your pick and you could copy those examples. I think the main goal here is just get used to the title block tools. I'd prefer if you didn't copy your title block from last semester verbatim. I'd prefer if you try something new and definitely just get into the Revit tools. Okay, so then next week, we're really going to start getting into the meat of it by adding the structural system to our cool little massing volumes. Okay, so this will be our sort of roadmap, and we're going to add structure first, and then we're going to do that in a different file. We're going to do that in a Revit, but we're going to do it in a different file, and we're going to link it then to our architectural file as we move forward. So at the end of this, you're going to have a architectural file and a structural file. They're going to talk to each other, and you're really only going to access the architecture file because the structural file will talk to it. But we'll get into that. So we're going to start building this guy up. First thing we have to do, though, is design our title block, which will basically be, I'm kind of in a sense asking you to design and create a mini company, right? And a fictitious company, maybe something you've had percolating in your head of something, a little design shop that you'd like to kind of make more real on this title block at least. So first thing I want to do before we jump into Revit is just show you those examples, as well as show you a tool that I like to use, and that of course is title blocks, and that of course is Pinterest. So I use Pinterest all the time to sort of organize my ideas about a given project. Maybe I need to do some research on floor plans. Maybe I need to do some research on just windows, just to sort of get my mind moving and inspired. Different ways to draw things, whatever the case may be, I can search those in Pinterest. And then the cool part is I can save those images like I have here, which I'll share with all of you. I'll download all these images and actually send them to you in the assignment. But what's really cool is Pinterest sort of looks at what you got going on here, and then it'll sort of give you some more ideas. So you can find things actually pretty easy, and you can just find some interesting things that maybe you wouldn't even know how to search for. So yeah, so here are some cool title blocks, and I've got some new ones on here. Let's see, where's that one I just saved? Oh, let me refresh this page. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, added some more down here. There was one that was really interesting I wanted to show you. This one right here. This is a cool one. You can see the title block isn't something that typical that maybe you've seen. So there's a kind of angle to it here. So I just want you to take a look at some of these, and we're going to sort of create one together in Revit. I think the one that I'm going to create, and maybe I'll start with, is, I don't know. I was thinking maybe a little bit of this one and a little bit of this one. Now, I know they're really small. This is sort of the title block here on this one. Go back, and this is the title block on this one. So how do we create something like this in Revit? How does Revit work? Oh my God, this looks psychotic over here. I think, it's meant to be that way. Okay. Commercials. So yeah, so let's just jump into Revit and let's talk about it. So here I am on that Revit landing page. Now here's something to think about. Now I've already pointed out the difference between models and families. So a model is sort of where the project lives. You're going to make your whole project in there, and the model accesses different families. So it might access a window family, a door family, and you have those families in your project. One family that your project will access is a title block, right? So we want to create construction documents. So we need a title block family that will be put into the project. So the first thing we want to do is create a new family. So this is the first time you're doing this. So instead of going to a project and starting a project, we're going to start with a family. So I'm going to go new. And now Revit is asking me here, hey, what is exactly do you want to make? Do you want to make a door? Do you want to make some furniture, a generic model, meaning no one knows exactly what it is? I mean, it's furniture, it's a part this, it's part that, but I just sort of want to model something. What is it exactly you want to make? So in our case, we want to go to title block. So there's a folder up here. So I'm going to click in that folder. And for our project, we want to make an ArcD document set that we're going to create throughout the semester. ArcD means a 24 by 36. There's all kinds of different sizes. You could look up you could just Google different architectural construction document sizes, and there's all kinds of different ones. E1's a 30 by 42. That's pretty common. ArcE is a 36 by 48. I mean, that is huge. I have made some documents like that before, but they're just actually hard to handle because you can't put them anywhere. 24 by 36 is a reasonable size, and we can kind of use that to create our cool structure. So I'm going to click on that. Now remember, we're in a family, we're not in a project, okay? I'm going to hit open. So it's opening up a family, and it sort of looks different already, right? So look up here. So this is a title block family, and there's sort of different things in the ribbon up here. And then we have this 24 by 36 inch sort of rectangle here, okay? Now, this is sort of our canvas to start drawing our title block. Okay, so all we need to do is create some line work and sort of play around on here. So if this represents my 24 by 36 inch sheet, okay, so let me go to here. And let's just click on one of these here. So I'm gonna actually go to this web page, and let's just see if we can get a better look at it. Well, of course, they're trying to sell me something. Maybe I can click on one. Okay, there, that's perfect. So this is sort of what we want to create, this title block over here. Let's examine it, which is kind of cool what this particular artist has. This is kind of like SketchUp artist. So we have some sort of logo up here. This right here, well, beneath the logo, we have the contact information for this particular architect, Nicholas Sonder. We have their architectural stamp here. Now, this is an ink stamp that is placed here in the gap here. Okay, so this is once you become a licensed architect, you sort of get this from the different states that you're licensed in, and you physically stamp the drawings and sign the little stamp here. It's very adorable. What else do we have here? We have these cool kind of gray bars here breaking up the title block, the different information of the title block. So it looks like what's cool about this is the project information, and it's rotated. Document date, document phase. Looks like some sort of different information. It looks like some sort of review date and remarks. This is empty at the moment, but that could fill up as the project moves forward. So they might issue another document set, and then they'll have to put a line of information there, because let's say you're the contractor, I'm the architect. The contractor has a document set, you have a document set, and I can ask the contractor, hey, what revision are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at the wrong document set. We need to get you a new one, for example. Of course, we have the drawing title here, and then the page number here. Of course, all these blocks that sort of break all the information up, which I think is actually quite elegant. I also like that they're not black, so they're not like so jarring on the eye. We also have this band over here. And really what this does over here is kind of allow some space in the document set for where the whole document set is actually bound. So it's going to be stapled over here, and it's going to be tighter over here. So they put this bar here as a way to say, hey, don't put any drawings over here, because this is going to be bound over here and it's going to be tight anyways. Looks like he also has some information down here. All this other stuff is added on this particular sheet. So all we're concerned with is really what's happening over here, what's happening on the left, and everything kind of around the whole document. Kind of looks like there's a border, but that just might be the edge of the page. Okay, so this will be our starting point. All right, so I'm going to go to Revit. And the first thing I want to do is maybe just put a margin around my sheet, so I know not to get too close to the edge when I'm placing information on my sheets. So let me go to Revit. Okay, so what we have here is I can click on these edge boundaries, and if I look up here, it's on the title blocks line, and there's other lines in here that I can choose from, but I'm just going to keep that on title blocks. It's kind of a not very elegant name, but that's what it is. Okay, but there's other ones in there, right? Thin, medium, wide, and invisible. Okay, now first things first, I could go to manage, go to additional settings, go to line styles, and expand the lines there, and I can add let's just add a new wide line. So I'm gonna call this one wide 2. And wide lines is currently set to 2. I will give this one a 4. Okay. So now when I click on a line, I now have, oh, wide 2 isn't in there. Okay, let's look at that again. Yes. How could I forget? For title blocks, it's a little different. So when we were in the project, we made a drafting view and we went into line styles to create different line work. In this one, we do it through object styles. I don't know why it's different, but it is. It's just the way sort of Revit is set up. So I'm going to create a new object style. I'm going to put that, I'm going to call it wide 2. And I'll put that under title blocks so it lives with all these lines. Hit OK, and I'll change this one to a 7. Okay, and hit OK. Now when I click on a line and go up here, I should see wide 2 in there. And there it is. Let's zoom in. You can see it's wider than the other line. But I'm going to change this back to title blocks. So just remember, when you're in title blocks and you need to create more line work, it's under object styles. If you're in a project and you need to create more line work, it's under manage, additional settings, line styles. We covered that in the last lecture, but just to review. Okay, so first things first, let's make this margin. So all I'm going to do is offset this line by, let's do a 1/4 inch. So to do that, I'm going to go to create. Actually, I'm going to go to modify. I'm going to go to offset. So you should be familiar with this one. I'm going to change the numerical value up here to a 1/4 inch. I'm going to keep copy checked. And I'm just going to hover over this edge here, just like that. Okay, that looks good. But I don't like how these corners are working here. So I'm going to use this handy tool, which you know, trim extend to corner. And I'm going to sort of clean that up. Oop, oop, oop. Okay. Now, if I brought this into my project, I would have a double line because I just copied a line right now, and this is a printable line, title blocks. But I want to make this an invisible line. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go up to my subcategory and just click invisible lines. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to, oops, didn't mean to grab that. I'm going to grab this one, hold down Control, grab that one. Just going to grab all those margin lines and change them to invisible lines. Okay, and you can see they're a little more gray than the outside line. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to create sort of where my title block is going to live. So I'm going to actually take that invisible line. I'm going to copy it over. Oh, let's see. So 2 inches looks a little too thin, right? So I'm going to go, what is that, 3.5? Let's try 4. And I'm going to do 3.5. Okay. Now I have an invisible line at 3.5. So none of that will print right now, but I'm sort of using it as a guide. So I'm just saying, hey, my title block is going to kind of live over here. Now remember, this is a 24 by 36 inch sheet. I actually have one in my space here. I might make that even a little wider. I'm looking at the example in my hands, like actual paper. And that I have that set to 3.5. Let's grab that line. I'm just going to move it over another 1/2 inch. And remember, you can play with this as you go forward. Okay. So that looks pretty good as sort of a starting like framework. Now let's go look at our example again. Let's do this now. Let's get these bands in here, these bands of gray. I kind of like that gray color there. Let's do that. So I'm going to go back to Revit. And let's put that one that we want over here, which is sort of our binding clip. So to do that, I want to use a filled region, right? So I just kind of want to make a solid hatched area. So I'm going to go to Create, Filled Region. And I'm going to just draw with invisible lines that, actually, I'll just make a rectangle. I'm going to grab here in that corner, and I'm going to grab there. Okay, so I placed it like I don't even really know kind of exactly where it is. Now remember, when I'm in filled in region, I have this red X and this green check, which means I'm definitely in a tool. So be mindful that you can't do anything else if you're in a tool. So I need to finish this filled region. So here it is right here. If I scroll over one of the lines, hit tab, I can grab all those lines. I might move that over a 1/4 inch to start with. So it's not like right on my margin there. Maybe I'll move, I'm going to keep it going all the way to the top and bottom. I want this to be, let's try a 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. That looks good. And now when I select these boundary lines, I know they're invisible lines, so that looks good. So I'm just going to hit the green check now. Okay, here's what I have. I've got a crosshatch in there. It's definitely not what I want. So I'll select my filled region now, and I'll go over here to edit type. Actually, filled region 1. Okay, so I'm going to go to edit type. So if I go to the different types under filled region, there's only one in here, and it's filled region 1, and filled region 1 is assigned this crosshatch. Okay, so I'm going to click edit type, and I'm going to duplicate this filled region 1 because I might want the diagonal crosshatch for something else later. And I'm going to click duplicate, and I'll call this solid hatch gray. Okay, hit OK. Now for my foreground pattern, here's what I do. I just need to change the color to a gray, right? It's both set to black here, this background pattern and this foreground pattern. I'm just going to change them both to a gray. So I'm just going to move my slider up to a really elegant, so that was set to 202 right there. So they're both the same. I'm going to hit OK. Let me go to edit type, and I have to change the foreground fill pattern here. So let me just show you. So I hit OK, and now I'm out of there, but it looks like nothing's changed besides the color of that cross diagonal hatch. But if I click on that filled region, click edit type. So I'm in the solid hatch gray one, not the filled region one because we duplicated it, but I forgot to change this to a solid hatch, not a diagonal cross hatch. There we go. I'm going to hit OK. Now I got a nice solid band over there, and that looks pretty good. Okay, looking at that again, I think I want to actually move that all the way over. So now that's a 3/4 inch band. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so we got that one in. Let's do some more over here. So I'm just going to look at my, so it looks like I got one up here, one here, one here. These three look like the same size, and these look a little bigger. Because every time you look at a document set, you're always really looking in this corner, which has a title of the sheet you're on and the page number. That is really the first place that you look. This information here is sort of secondary, but equally important. So let's put these big ones in first. Okay, back to Revit. Okay, same technique we did over there. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go, let's go create filled region. I'm just going to make a rectangle right there. And I'm going to change this to 0.75 inch so it matches what I have on the other side. Now I might select that and just move it down right where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to copy that up because I can make multiple hatches in one move here. So maybe I want that up, I'll say 3 inches. Okay, I'm kind of looking at the hole. Okay, that looks good. And in fact, I'm going to just stop here. I'm going to set those to invisible lines and hit the green check. And look, it looks like nothing's there. But if I grab this hatch right here and change it to solid gray, there, I'll see it there. So that looks pretty good. Now I could go in here, and I'm going to go up to edit sketch, and now I can mess with this. Okay, so these are 3 inches apart. I think I might want to move this one down a little bit. I'm going to move it down a 1/2 inch. Okay, and now I'm going to make those other ones, those other skinny ones. So I got a big gap, small gap, big gap. I'll just approximate. 2 closer here, 1 up there for now. All right, so I'm going to copy this up. Let's do one. Let's do it. Yeah, 6 1/4. That's fine. Well, let me move that down 1/4 inch. So this, I'm designing this, so I'm going to be a little picky, right? I want to move this up. Well, let's make this a, Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. Let's try a quarter. Ugh, too much. Okay, we'll keep it at a half. And then I'm going to copy this up, maybe like 3. Okay, and then there was one more up here, about here. Let's do it 7 up. So that leaves me room for logo and stuff here. I'm going to move all these bottom ones lines up a little bit. I'll just say 0.1 inch. That looks a little better. Okay, so I'm editing this hatch that we started with just these 2 bars down here. I'm gonna hit the green check, and now they're all in there. Okay, so I can always click that hatch and edit that sketch, change it up. I could have included this on that hatch. Right now I have 2 separate hatches, and that's totally fine. These could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different hatches if I so choose. So I'm fine with that. Okay, that looks pretty good for now. Okay, so we've got our major breaks in there. Let's go to our little example. Let's do the project name. Okay, so if I look right there, it says project. It's got something cool in here. This says Marge's Camp, lot 330. So we want to put project, and then we want to do a bigger headline like that. Okay. So working on this project, we can give our project a name. We're making an architectural office. So let's call this one, I'm going to call it Kinney Architectural Office because that's my last name and I'm the fictitious client in this case. So let me look at that one more time. We want to do that here, and then this is just project date and phase there. All right, let's go back to Revit. Okay. I think I'm going to go in here and edit this sketch and actually move this down a little bit. 3/4 of an inch. Looks good. I just want this to be a little bigger. Edit it one more time, and I'm going to pull these guys down an inch. Green check. Okay, I'm a little happier with that one. Okay, so let's get that info in here. So first thing I want to do is add some text, right? So think about this. Go back to the sheet here. There's certain things on that title block that will not change from page to page to page of our document set. For example, the project's never going to change, right? The name of the project's never going to change, right? I'm not going to turn the page on our document set and it's going to be a different project name. That'd be weird. Our logo's never going to change. I have the same logo. I'm not going to have a different logo on every page. That'd be insane. Exterior elevations, the title of the drawings on here, this will change from sheet to sheet to sheet. Likewise, the page number will change from sheet to sheet to sheet. So this information up here is not changeable, while this information here is changeable. So how do we make it so that I don't have to go to my title block and edit the information every time on the changeable items, right? That'd be weird. You don't want to keep having to go back to this title block unless you want to change something that's permanent, like the name of the project or project date or whatever the case may be. Okay, back to Revit. So if I go to create, the difference between things that change and things that don't change is labels and text. Here's a good way to think about it. Labels change from sheet to sheet to sheet. Text stays the same. So if we're doing our project name over here, I want to use text. So I'm going to click that. I'm just going to make a box. Just use the left mouse click. I just made a box. And I'm going to first type project. Like that. Okay, I've made some text. I'm going to hit escape a bunch of times, and I can take that text and I zoom in a little bit here. Take that and I can move it over. And I can use this tool and I can just hold down shift and rotate it. I can use the move tool. I can sort of get that text box in position where I want it, right? Because that project or that example we're using said project and then it had something really big here. Okay, so let me click on that text box. Here's a couple things. First off, it's text note 1. That's what type it is. Okay. Now, if I go into, select it again and go into edit type, here are my settings for text note 1. Okay. Text font is Arial. The text size is a 1/4 inch. All right. 1/4 inch looks okay. I'm fine with that. I'm not a fan of Arial. Let's choose something else. Oh, let's see. Which one do I like? I like Franklin Gothic. Is that in here? Let's see. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There we go. Franklin Gothic. I'm going to do book for this. I'll keep all this the same. Hit OK. Okay, there it is. Doesn't look all that different. All right. Now I'm going to go to create text. And I'm going to call this Kinney. Architectural office. That's going to be my main title. It's going to live here. Okay, I'm going to click off there. I'm going to get this in position. Okay, I'm going to line that up there, but I want this to be nice and big, right? It's pretty tiny right now. So I'm going to select that text. I'm going to go up to edit type, and I'm going to go duplicate, and I'm going to call it project name. So I made a new type called project name. I'm going to call this one Franklin Gothic Heavy. And I'm going to change the text size to 1 inch. Let's just see what we get and hit OK. Okay. Huge. Too big, right? All right, let's go back. I selected the type here. I'm going to go back to edit type. And I'm going to change it to 3/4 inch and hit OK. All right, that's looking better. Let's see what this can get us. Still a little too big. All right, let's do one. Let's just call it a 1/2 inch. Okay, that's pretty good. We could also do, oh, I'm gonna hit OK. Let's see if we went, I'm gonna get in here. There we go. And I could move architectural down. I can move office up. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, Kinney Architectural Office. Let me see if I can make that just a little bigger. So this is 0.5. Let's try 0.6 inch. Oh, I kind of like that. Kinney Architectural Office. Boom. Looking good. It's a weird text size, but I don't care. Franklin Gothic Heavy. Okay, we'll leave it there. Okay, there we go. I got that in. So this is Franklin Gothic. I'm going to move this over a little. So we're sort of playing graphic designer right now. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now, I need to get a logo up here, and I need to get some other information up here. All right, 1 second. Got to pause. Okay, and I'm back. Not exactly remembering where we left off because my dog was going nuts and other things transpired, and here I am. So I see we got the project name in there. Let's go up and work on the logo. So I'm going to create just some information up here. So for example, I'm going to put the name of the firm or the architectural little designer shop, whatever the case may be, kind of address information, because that is what is up here for the most part. So let's just add something there and let's change some text around again. So I'm going to actually make my little logo myself. So I'll call it Kevin Kinney Design. That's what we're going to call it. That's as original as I can be right now. So I'm going to go create. Let's see. Let's call it Kevin Kinney, and then maybe it'd be 1 line. Let's see how this looks. Maybe we do something like that. Okay. That already like fits. Not bad. Let's see what this is. Sorry, let's look at what we have here. So I had the project name. Now, if I changed it to that, right, it's going to give me that same size again, which is way too big. So I'm going to put it back to text note 1. I'm going to edit type and duplicate, and I'll call this one logo. And I'll do Franklin Gothic medium. Okay. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. And then let's do, I'm going to just copy that down. I just did Control C, Control V. That's not another way to do things. Likewise, I could delete that, grab this one, do copy, and just bring it down. And I'm going to go to edit type. And I'm going to just click on it. I'm going to change the type to, try text note 1. Let's double check those settings. Franklin Gothic book. Let's do text size at 1/8. There we go. So we can call, this will be my first line of my address. So let's just call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Architect Lane, Madison. Okay, something like that. So that's looking pretty good. And then maybe I'm going to copy that down and do, let's see, kevin@kevin.com, whatever my email is, and then whatever my phone number is. Something like that. So some sort of contact information. Now, some of you might be like, hey, I want to actually put an image there. Maybe I found a cool image online. Super easy to do in here. I can just go up to Insert, Image, and then I can search for the image wherever that might be on my computer. So I'm going to just try to find one here for you that I had saved. Oh, we can go in here. Here we go. Here's a logo of something I've been working with. Oh, let's do this one. Open. Wow, it's really thinking on this. Oh, it's huge. All right, let me zoom out. Okay, too big, right? So how do I shrink this down? I can just easily grab this upper corner. I'll move this up. The A stands for a company that I sort of work with sometimes. So I'm just going to move this down. Maybe I want to put this up there kind of right in the middle. You can go ahead and make your own logo, you know, wherever you want, however you want. Yeah. Likewise, I could have probably made this right in here, right? I could have made a hatch that was black, and then I could put a white letter A in front of it. Because if I click on this and go to edit type, I can change the color. In this case, it's black, but I could have made it white. And so this could be, KD or something like Kevin Kennedy Design, something like that. So just put something up there for its, just holding it there so you can kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so we've added information in here that doesn't change from sheet to sheet to sheet. Now let's add something that does change from sheet to sheet. So in that case, we're going to put a title page or title number in, as well as a drawing title in. Okay, so I'm going to make a little more room down here. So I'm going to grab that hatch. Now I could just stretch these up, but I just actually want to go in and edit the sketch. I'm going to move this bar up. Oh, 1/2 inch. Yeah, just give me a little bit more room. Okay, so let's add a label. So I'm going to go create label. Now we've done text, right? That's the stuff that's permanent. I'm going to do label. And now it looks like I clicked it, nothing happens. I'm just going to click in space anywhere on my drawing. And this sort of chart, if you will, comes up. What it's asking me is, hey, what kind of label do you want to make? So that we know sort of how to create this label, right? So if I scroll down, I want to go to sheet number. Let's just start with sheet number. We can come back and make a different label. So I selected sheet number and I need to move it over here. Okay. So all I did was click sheet number and say, yeah, let's do that. Let's add that label in here. I'm just going to hit OK. And there it is right here. Here's my sheet number. Now, the difference is it looks the same as a text box, right? Like look over here. All it has is one label type in here, and it's called tag 1. Has its own types, just like this has its own types over here. So it's almost behaving just like the text box that we made previously, and it kind of is, except there's one major difference. So I'm going to bring this down here. Okay, first thing I don't like about it, right, is that it doesn't match the fonts of anything I got going here. So I want to change that first. So I'm going to click on that, click edit type. I'll give it a name, and I'll just call this sheet number. Black is good for that. I'm going to change that font to, what did I use? Franklin. EFG. Let's do heavy. Let's do text size of 1 inch. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks kind of cool. All right, now I'm just going to move it in place here. Nice big. Okay, here's something to notice. You see how that text box is sort of bleeding down into my gray band there? I'm going to select it. Let's see what we got up here. I'll keep all that the same. I'm going to go to edit type. Background right here. I'm going to change that to transparent, hit apply, and now we don't see any of that happening. Okay, let's take a look. That page number is cool, but it's pretty big. So actually, I'm going to go to edit type. Don't need to duplicate it, right? I just want to change this one. I'm going to say 0.85 inch. Hit OK. I just want to make it just a little smaller, not quite a 3/4. I'm going to move that over. It right where I want it. That looks cool. Now you'll see what this does when we put it on a sheet, which I'll do in the next lecture. So we're just sort of making it in here. We'll put it on a sheet in the next lecture. Okay, I want to add what is on this sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go to create label, because from sheet to sheet to sheet, whatever I put on there changes, right? So let's see what we have on here. Designed by, drawn by. Let's see what we can get. Scale, project address, assembly. Oh. Let's do project name, project number, project status, scale. Oh, sheet name. I was looking for that. Sheet name. Boom. Sheet name. Okay, let's put that right there. I'm just going to hit escape. I'm going to grab it now, put it in position. I want it about right here. Again, I'm going to go in, edit type. I'm just going to change this one. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to say sheet name instead of tag 1, because that really doesn't help. And I will change the font to Franklin Gothic. So I'm just sort of designing this whole thing out. I'm sure you're getting that now. All right. Book. 1/4 inch? Sure. All right. I think I like that. Okay. Now, let's just go to our example. Okay, document date, document phase. That could be put in as labels. That could be put in as text. You probably want to put those in as labels, but I'm going to just leave those as they are right now. I'm not going to put them in my drawing. And I might, yeah, I had it centered. I think I want to left align this. Let's take a look at that. So I'm going to grab this. Let's see what we got here. Horizontal alignment left. Okay, so I'm just going to move this then to right here. And I think I'm going to change this one to medium. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, do something like that. Okay, I'll leave that for now. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with this title block for the time being. I want to get it on a sheet and I want to just sort of see how it looks in the project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save as family. Now I will go put this in my documents that I just moved. Put it under ARC Software 2. I'm going to put this under week 4. That in here. And I'll call this, yeah, I'll just call this title block 24 by 36 V01, version 1, because we might have multiple versions of a 24 by 36. Okay, save. Okay, this is saved right now. Now, before I bring it into a project, I want to make a new project just to start with. So this is exactly what you're going to do in the assignment too after you make this title block. I'm going to go File, New Project, and I will use a default template. Okay, so this project is starting up. Okay, so I'm going to save this real quick. File, Save As, Project. And I will save this in the same location that I saved that other one. Where are we? Documents. Week 4. And I'm going to call this Assignment 4. Kevin McKinney. Assignment 4, version 1. Okay, I want to save that. Okay. All right, so here's what I have open in Revit right now. I have the project open and I have the title block open that I've been designing. This is a family file, and you can sort of tell by the icon of that little sheet here. And this is a project file. 2 different animals, but they're both open in Revit. I can play in families, I can play in projects all at the same time. Okay, so hopefully from this video, you totally understand how to create a title block at a 24 by 36. And you can see here that I used this really cool one as a starting point. In the next video, which will be shorter, I will just show you how to bring that into a project and then print it. Okay, all right, guys. Stay tuned for that next video. Let me just switch back to Revit. Here we go. All right, stay tuned for that next video.